See. Hey!
Hello, how are you?
All is well. How are you, Gabrielle?
Oh, I'm great. Great.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, finals week is my favorite.
Oh, so this is finals week.
Well, it's like technically it's next week, but all of our final projects are due this week, so
Gotcha. So you ramping up into it then. This is that time of the season, so to say.
Oh yeah, yep, it's the pre-stress before the stress.
I got you. I love it. I love the glasses.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, your college look.
Oh yeah. It makes me feel more studious.
Right. I love it. Wonderful. Well, we're going to get right down to it, especially because this is, leading the finals week for you. And I want to just dive in. And then as I start getting more questions or whatever, other than what's been submitted to me, then I'll throw that out there and all that good stuff. So, I'll also ping off going back and forth with some of the things that you have brought up in I had asked, what are some things that you like to be able to share? So we'll go ahead and we'll dive into all that. But first, let me go ahead and give a warm welcome to our visitors that are coming through. Hey, everyone. My name is Coach Mike with Game Changers. Welcome to our Instagram Live, where we are using our platform now to engage some of our previous players of the week. So with me today, I have the wonderful Gabrielle Lyon, who has joined us, who was one of our players of the week, maybe about a good 3 to 4 years ago. It's been some time. She's a vet, so she's coming back to let you all know exactly how her college experience has been, but also even prior to college, what are some of those things that kind of help get her ready for that next step, especially for our juniors and our seniors in high school, even our sophomores, when you start considering, how do I make sure that I'm ready to make that leap, whether it's mentally, if I'm physically going out of my city or out of my state, that's really a big mind thing there. So I want to make sure that Gabrielle really takes this time to kind of share some of her story. And then as you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and chime in, and then I'll be sure to mark down your questions. And then she's also just going to be sharing some of the things from her heart as well. So welcome, Gabrielle. We love to have you here. Thank you so very much. This is my round of applause that we're giving. I mean, it's a room full of people, not really because it's quarantine.
Yeah. Oh,
welcome.
Not much to do.
Right. So as we did a little bit of a prelude there, mentally, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah. I think this time of the year, usually I'd be spending it with a lot of my friends. So it's kind of a bummer with everything going on, but you learn to see the positives, and I don't know, I'm more into using technology than I ever have been.
Okay. I got you.
But yeah.
Wonderful. So give the people just a little bit of background, as far as in even just, who you are, what great state you're from, the best state in the entire country, but more so your major and your classification as well.
Yeah, so I'm Gabby. I am from Findlay, Ohio, and I go to Miami University of Ohio in Oxford. And my major is marketing and my minor is interactive media studies, and I'm finishing up my junior year right now, so I'll be an incoming senior.
Awesome. Great stuff. Well, let's get to it, because how we first met you is one of our interns from Game Changers. They were going through, and we use our platform. We're athletic driven as far as in going for athletes, but it's because a lot of times people have preconceived notions about athletes. You know what I mean? Maybe that they get everything, they're not doing anything in the community, or maybe their grades are slouching or whatever. And what we try to do is say, listen, there are athletes that are just as student and academically and service oriented driven as they are or off the court or off the field or out of the pool, whatever, as they are on. And so, that was us reaching out to you. And even back then, I remember, when we did the interview, and it's on one of our earlier player of the weeks, you were rocking at a 4.0 GPA while you were still in your sport and playing. But, using sports as a precursor, let's start with sports. What was your love for sports and what got you interested in it?
So that's pretty simple for me. My mom was a basketball coach, and
Okay.
my dad was her assistant. So after he would be done with work, he would help out my mom. Um,
Okay.
so I played volleyball and basketball, soccer growing up, anything that I
Mm.
could, any sport I could be involved in, I tried.
Okay.
But that was my outlet. That is how, like, if I was angry, sad, mad, whatever, I would just run on the field, the soccer field, or on the court, or I don't know. I just worked my butt off to create that outlet for myself instead of
Mm.
taking it out on others around me.
Sure. So for you, sports was almost like therapy, so to say. I
Yeah,
mean, just being able to like mentally process, get in a zone and work out things, so to say. So it
yeah,
had a very positive effect on you, so to say.
100%. Yeah, and I think
Okay.
it's also like the community as well. Having a
Mm,
team
mm,
is something I've never not experienced. Like being with
mm,
my mom's team when I was younger, growing up, and just always being surrounded by that love and just that support constantly is
mhm.
something that I truly do miss now, being in school and not having that
Sure.
team surrounding me,
Right,
so to
right,
speak.
right.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So how young were you when you started playing sports? It seems like sports has always kind of been in a program because of your
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
my mom says she remembers I started playing basketball, I think, around 3 years old.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
really young.
Yeah.
Really young.
I'm surprised she hasn't tried to get you a contract to the WNBA with that much dedication and time. I mean,
I know. But my parents said I was their Spitfire child, so I would
Okay.
just be the crazy nutcase running around the court. So,
Okay. I got you. So they also had to use sports to harness your energy to kind of get you focused as well.
yeah.
They're like, yeah, let's put a ball in your hand and get you out there because you're doing a lot right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine you being 3 years old now, going through quarantine and be like going crazy. I mean,
I would feel really bad for my parents right now.
right, exactly. So you were mentioning, you're a multi-sport, you play different sports. So when we saw you, it was in respect to volleyball. So when did you get introduced to volleyball and what made you, I guess go with volleyball as your sport because you were also playing up, you were varsity and things of that nature as well. So what was that for you to make that decision with
Um,
volleyball?
yeah, so I I've always been really competitive no matter
Mm,
what.
mhm,
And for me, basketball came easily. It was always a part of my life. It was just always there. But then soccer, same thing. But with volleyball, I really was not that good in middle school. And like
mm,
my drive and my motivation is and my competitiveness is what took me to the next level, I think, and
mhm,
why I focused so much in on just that sport, especially
mm,
that was the only sport I played my junior and senior year of high school. But I knew I could be better and I wanted to be better. And I wanted
mm,
to
mhm.
prove people wrong. And I think that was my mindset and my drive.
Gotcha. What position did you play in
So I was
volleyball?
libero,
Okay, all right. So
the
educate us
different color
non-vol.
jersey.
Okay, gotcha. you know, I've heard of a striker. Is that one?
That's in soccer.
That's a soccer.
That's okay. There's a lot of different positions. There's a setter
Okay.
and then front row hitters, but I only play back row.
Okay. All
So
right. Gotcha. Wonderful. So, of course, from the layman's man, for someone not in the, I guess, not in the sport, you would think of the striker as whoever is up there spiking the ball because there's some
mhm.
vicious spikes that some
Oh
of
yeah.
women be doing. I mean, they're like, ah, ah. I'm like, geez. I mean, and I've seen some of those really insane ones. I don't know, like
Oh yeah.
volleyball, it's like don't sleep on volleyball. You know what I mean? I mean, it's competitive, it's in your face.
I know. Yeah.
They're out there hustling. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like and straight communication at all times. Like you don't have time to, with other sports sometimes it's like you could take a quick little break mentally or whatever, but volleyball, you run the risk if you take a blink too long, you're going to get smacked in the face with the ball. Like,
That's happened to me multiple times.
oh
So
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
If you aren't ready with your hands, you're done for.
You're
Yeah.
liable to get
Mhm.
get done in.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right,
Oh yeah.
wonderful. So, speaking about, more so like your high school experience before we get ready to kind of dive into the college, what was it for you in regards to your high school experience, that kept you engaged? Looking over some of our notes from, when you were at high school, being involved with National Honor Society, Student Council, Zonta Club, Fellowship of Christian Athletes,
Mhm.
and it's so easy just to kind of lock into just a sport and do nothing else, or
Mhm.
it's also easy to be locked into something that might be not beneficial to making you more well-rounded and ready for that next step. So what was it about you that said that you wanted to kind of step up your leadership skills and really be involved with organizations outside of sports itself?
Yeah. I would say I think it's best to surround yourself with all different types of people. Like
Mm-hmm.
you want to build your communication skills and learning, like, I guess, the mindset behind why people do the things they do. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I liked seeing, what does Fellowship of Christian Athletes do for kids? Does it
Mm-hmm.
bring them together? Does it push them away?
Mm-hmm.
I think I just really liked being involved in anything and everything because I was so curious.
Mm-hmm.
I constantly ask questions, like, why this, like, what can I do to help, or, something like that. And I think that's because it made me feel wanted and a part of it as well, because I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to be a part of anything that I could
Mm-hmm.
growing up. So I think that's really why I wanted to do good,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
not only just feel good about myself, but overall, I think it's good for anyone to be more well-rounded.
Sure. And for me, looking at these organizations, especially National Honor Society, Zonta, as well as Fellowship of Christian Athletes, um, but I'll even say even National Honor Society because there's a hour requirement that you need to fulfill when it comes to service hours to giving
Mhm.
back. See, I know that fact. So Stryker might have been off, but I know NHS a little bit better. But it really drives you to making sure that you're out there and you're, giving back to the community. And I was able to kind of just see like the things that you were able to do and how that just naturally flowed into service. And so, looking at your blood drives that you helped do and your food drives,
Mhm.
I believe it was one called Teddy's Rescue as well,
Yeah.
So yeah, Mike's done a little bit of research. Coach Mike's on it. So tell me about that when it came to, that service portion as well. Because some athletes would say, okay, I see being a part of an organization, being more well-rounded, but what about when it comes out to, giving back in that service piece? And how has that helped you? And how has that kind of been interwoven in the fabric of, just kind of like who you are now?
Yeah. I think a lot of kids, like in high school, you want the service because colleges look for the service,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of kids, it's what people focus on, and there's hour requirements for different things that you're involved in. But I think for me, it's always been a big part of my life. My parents have always made it known, um, to give back and be a part of something bigger than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's not about just like giving. I think it's about understanding and realizing there are other people in this world that are worse off. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just that little bit of hope that you can give and share, so then they can share that little positive light with someone else. So I think it's a lot of like
Mm-hmm.
mental in general, because I think we've all been there in life where we do get really down. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that one person that can pick you up, you're like, oh, I liked that. So I think
Mm-hmm.
wanting to spread that love and the light to others is definitely something that people look for and seek for, and it'll definitely pay off in the long run when it's given back to you. And I've picked up
Awesome.
on that in college for sure.
Gotcha. So one of the things you just mentioned is you said, so that's what colleges look for. What do you believe as far as in where you are now? And, why did you make that statement as far as, and this is what colleges are looking for?
So when you're filling out all of the lots of applications and paperwork you have to do.
Right.
You have to put, you know, what kind of service you're involved in. And I think they look
Mm,
for that because they want you to be involved in their university. And
mm, mm,
I didn't realize that until I think my sophomore year of college here. I started to join more clubs and be a part of more because I was like, oh, it's always been a part of my life. I want to meet new people. I want to see what's out there for me. And I think not having that in your routine, but always in the back of your mind of wanting to be involved with so much is something that will be beneficial for you because then in college, like they offer so many different clubs and different things
mm,
that you can do. And it's truly, I mean, I think it's great because like I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life. So there were people that I found that were in the same boat as me. And just kind of channeling it to different directions in life and seeing where it'll take you. Yeah.
So tell me this, you know, and we're starting to slowly transition into, you know, the college years or whatever, but what did it look like when it was time for you to, first of all, decide if you wanted to play sports or not at the collegiate level? And then once you did that, you know, what about selecting also your major? Those are two big decisions with that next step.
Yeah, so I got a couple of offers to play volleyball. I know earlier on in high school I did get some looks for basketball, but then like opting out of basketball early on and looking at my possible volleyball future. They were smaller schools, obviously, and so I kind of looked at it and I was like, you know, I want to I want to focus on my academic career from this
Hmm.
point on. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean that I cannot be involved in sports somehow.
Hmm.
Um, but I think I decided to opt out of that. And that was tough for me because I think two of the reasons that I was focused on was, you know, will I be able to handle it with school, one, with the sport,
Hmm.
and then two, do I want to go to a smaller school when I've always
Hmm.
wanted to go to a larger school?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so I think that's what weighed on my mind a lot. But in the end, I decided that, you know, I can still share my love and passion for sports in another direction when I go to
Hmm.
college. And it's okay to not play at the collegiate level, which was really upsetting to me. But I found other outlets that helped me cope with
Hmm.
that.
Gotcha. And so what about your major? You know, so now you're on campus, you don't have necessarily the obligation of, okay, reporting in sports and, you know, whatever, everything that kind of
Mhm.
comes with practices and all that. But really investing, so to say, like in yourself, double downing on your major and things. So how did
Yeah.
you decide what major you want to go in?
Oh. I think the biggest thing I can say is that it's okay to not know what you want to do.
Mhm.
I have a brother who's 3 years younger than me, and he already knows what college he wants to go to and what he wants to be. And it's a lot of pressure, especially coming home and you have family members and friends constantly asking you like, oh, what's your major? Like, what are you doing for the rest of your life? And you kind of just sit there like, I don't know. That's really scary at this point to think about.
Mhm. Mhm.
So for me, I was undecided for the first 2 years. I think I
Mhm.
decided halfway through my sophomore year.
Mhm.
But it was a lot of pressure to decide because it's almost like you feel as if you're signing your life away when you
Mhm.
declare your major. You're like, is this something I really want to do?
Right, right.
Um, but I decided that marketing is something that is flexible and I can do pretty much anything with marketing. So I knew that
Mhm.
at least that's one thing that would help me in deciding that
Sure.
major.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. So what would you say would be like a dream job for you, you know, if you're to look at the whole marketing route?
Oh, I don't know.
All
This
right,
one's
no.
tough. Um, like right now, I am going to be, or as of now, I am going to be a marketing intern for an oil company.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, it's kind of all over the spectrum.
Yeah.
Um, my dream, I think, would definitely be in the city for a little bit
Mm,
and work at a marketing firm to
mm,
design stuff for brands and work with them and coordinate. So, I think anything with graphic design and learning how advertising, sales, like all aspects of marketing, probably.
Gotcha. Okay. No worries. It's not a right or wrong answer. I was just wondering
I
because,
know, but that
like you
question
said,
still gives me anxiety.
yeah. What are you going to be?
I know.
No, but honestly, because so many people do start in college and they're not certain what it is they want to
Mhm.
do, and it's completely okay. Um, and with that, usually indie program, you're still going to be able to do 2 years worth of core classes that still gives you the versatility to still select your major, maybe going into your third year, your junior and your senior year. So it's completely all right because you still need to do your prerequisites of math and psychology
Yeah.
and any and everything that's completely out there.
Yeah,
So yeah,
for sure.
100%. Awesome.
Yeah. And I just think that also doing the research as
Right.
well, like talking to, like, there's faculty at universities for a reason. So like
Mhm.
talking to the advisor that they give you. And if you don't like that advisor, academic advisor, go find someone else that you do
Mhm.
like.
Mhm.
Because I think it's best to find that person who knows you well then throughout the years as time goes on,
Mhm.
to help you decide, like, oh, I don't think you'll like this class or not.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I just think doing your research on professors too in classes, because that can
Mhm.
make or break someone
Yeah.
deciding whether they actually want to go with that major or not, to be honest.
Gotcha. So you're a little ways away from home. So your first year or so, you stayed on campus.
Yeah. Yep.
What was your campus experience like your first year? New roommates and meeting new
Yeah.
people.
Um, that was a lot. I have wanted to go to a school where I didn't know a lot of people and I wanted to be in a new environment. And
Mhm.
so it was just a lot different because I grew up in a small town, not a small town, but a town where everyone knew each other.
Mhm.
You knew a lot of stuff about a lot of people through the grapevine. And
Mhm.
so I wanted to get out of that, I think, and experience
Mhm.
something else. So that was really refreshing for me.
Mhm.
But also, I didn't really know who I was. It was a lot of discovery for me.
Mhm.
Um, and I think I would see my other friends from home instantly click with people
Mhm.
on campus and like their roommate and stuff. And I just had a little bit of a different experience. And that was hard for me, I think, just because I didn't find that close knit friend group until end of my sophomore year, but mainly like my junior year. I was like, these are my best friends. These are the friends that
Mhm.
I know I'll keep in touch with for the rest of my life. So
Gotcha.
it's different for everybody. I mean, I love the campus in general, but I think it's also the culture is just a lot different for everybody. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
So did you do a campus visit prior to you signing and know that you like the feel, you like the vibe of
Mhm.
it, and what would you
Yeah.
suggest for students,
Yeah.
going
I would
forward?
definitely say, when you're walking around campus, picture yourself walking to class. Is this a walk you want to be taking every day? Is this an environment you want to be around every day? Do not base your decision off of people already on campus walking to class like actual students. I think a lot of kids look at the kids around and then decide, okay, this is the picture that the school is. I don't want to go here. Or this
Mhm.
is like who I'm going to be or like who I'll be friends with, then yeah, I
Mhm.
want to go here. I think
Mhm.
that's what a lot of kids do. And then they end up being unhappy
Mhm.
because they don't look into, what else the school actually does have to offer.
Mhm. Mhm. That's
So,
real smart. That's real smart advice. Like, yeah, you look at someone there, you're like, oh, that's going to be me and my group of friends. Like
mm-hmm.
this is a Sex in the City.
Yes,
You can't project
exactly.
yourself and say, oh, I'm going to be Miranda. I'm going to be Samantha. I
Yes.
should not know all of these names.
It's
Well,
quarantine. It's quarantine.
it's quarantine. People
We'll
chalk
blame
it
it on
up.
that.
Right, exactly. But like you said, taking the walks, going from this building to this building,
Mhm.
walking from the caf to here, seeing if it's going to be something that kind of fits with who I am, and
Yeah.
do I get anxiety, extra anxiety? I mean, it's already going to be new, but how do I see myself? So
Right.
that's really solid information. And of course, one of the things people always care about or they mention is, man, you know, I'm not going to have my mother's cooking or whatever. How was it, you know, you adjusting to even, you know, the food on campus and all that other kind of stuff, college life?
Yeah. So, um, it was different to say the
Okay.
least. I have like some dietary restrictions, so I
Okay.
had special food made for me, which was really nice.
Okay.
But it definitely, you don't have your own kitchen, like you share a common space with a lot of people, and I think it
Hmm.
was a lot to adjust to of, you know, oh, maybe microwave food is my reality for a while.
Right.
But you get creative. Like I think that's where my um I don't know, innovation would come in, and I'd be like, all right, I'm sick of these microwave meals. I want to do something that's easy, but also I don't feel like crap afterwards every single time.
Sure, sure,
So,
sure.
yeah.
Gotcha.